Okay, I think I'm live now. So, hi everybody, it's Crystalline here. And today it's about 3 days, actually 4 days before we have the full moon in Leo. And as you know, I have created the full moon ritual and workbook, along with the new moon and the sun report for this Sun and Aquarius period. So today we're going to be talking about the full moon in Leo and how you can take advantage of the energies. And the link, if you've not gotten your download yet, hold on, I want to put the link here. Actually, I can easily do that later. So the link is in the description so that you can actually have that document if you've not gotten it already. So what are we going to do today? Today we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening with the sun in Aquarius and why the sun in Aquarius and the full moon in Leo go hand in hand, and how you need to know about both in order to take advantage of of the opportunity that's here. And I've got Sangeeta joining me here. That's great. It's always fun for Sangeeta when Sangeeta joins me. Hey, darling. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
It's good to see you, Sangeeta.
Same here.
Yeah. Are you okay?
To connect.
Yeah, good, good. So Sangeeta, did you already get the download for the full moon in Leo? Have you downloaded it yet?
I've just done that.
Great, perfect. All right. So what we're going to do today is talk about the ritual, and we're going to maybe talk about some of those important questions that are in the workbook, because for me, that is where the most important work is done during the time of the actual, like the ritual itself is super important, but the actual work that you do before the workbook is most important. And Erin has joined us. Hey, Erin. Oh, Erin, can you hear me? I think it said it said you're not connected to audio. Hopefully she'll get connected easily. Can you hear me now? You got to unmute yourself.
Unmute. Here we go. I think I got it.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my goodness. This is so surreal. Oh my God. I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity, which I kind of am,
That's
but
so nice. Oh my God. Well, excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, darling. I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity too. I get to follow your Facebook posts, and it's just really nice to actually connect. I'm so happy you were
yes.
able to join me.
Yes, of course.
Very
Am I
good.
the only one here so far?
No, you've got Sangeeta on the line as well. So actually, let me change the view right now. I'm going to put us in a gallery view, so I think you can see all three of us right now that are on. So, so Erin, this is Sangeeta. Sangeeta, this is Erin.
Hi.
Awesome.
Hi.
So look,
Oh, I hear her.
yeah, very good. So look, actually, I'm going to switch this back because first I'm going to just talk to you all about I'm going to talk to you all about the full moon in Leo. And as I'm kind of talking about it, if you all have questions, to feel free to just ask. Okay, don't hesitate. And I'm going to ask you both to mute yourselves until you're actually ready to say something. Okay, don't wait. You know, if you have a question about something I'm talking about, unmute yourselves. But until then, just go ahead and mute yourselves so that, you know, if you all are moving around, there's no background noise and stuff like that. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Very good. So, Erin, I know you've downloaded already the full moon workbook, right? Yeah? Yeah, perfect. Very good. So here's the thing. On the 28th, actually, I'm going to double check my times because it depends on where you are in the world. Okay. So as you know, in the workbook, there is a sun and moon calendar for you to use. And the hours are based on a 24-hour clock. Okay. So we have the full moon in Leo rising on January 28th at 11:16 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Uh-oh. I realize that I didn't write on here that it's Pacific Standard Time. I need to do that, but I will do that. Okay, so all these times are based on Pacific Standard Time. So Sangeeta, for you, it's going to be like midnight in Dubai, right?
Mhm.
And for you, Aaron, are you wait, are you in Oregon? No, where are you?
I am currently in Tucson, Arizona, so it's Mountain Standard Time, but
Okay.
the first week of February, I'll be moving to Arkansas.
Oh, okay, that's right. You have a
So
lot going on right now. Yeah.
I do.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. So, so Sangeeta, the moon will be rising for you at on the 28th. No, you're ahead of me. So it'll be on Friday morning. That's when the full moon actually reaches its apex. So what you can do, look, if you can do the moon ritual itself on the day of the full moon or on the day of the new moon, you do the new moon ritual, that's the ideal thing, right? But if you can't do it on that day, you don't have to worry because starting doing the ritual a day or two before or a day or two after the full moon is just as powerful. The closer you are to the date of the full moon to do your actual ritual, the better. Okay. Now, these reports come with, there's the actual ritual, which is written out in all step by steps of what to do, right? But what you want to do before you do the ritual, okay, and that you can do this days before the ritual, is to start answering the questions in the workbook, right? So each workbook has a set, it depends on, on what the season is. I'm just kind of, I give you as many questions as spirit tells me is necessary. Like it just says, write this, write that, write this, write that. And I'll stop when I'm done. So sometimes there will only be 6 questions. Other times there'll be 12, like in this Leo one, there are 12. Sometimes there are as many as 18. So the idea though is that the full moon is in Leo, and Leo is the sign that represents it's the 5th house of the zodiac wheel, and it represents our capacity for pleasure. That is to give pleasure and to receive pleasure. Now, it doesn't matter what sign you are, okay? The full moon is in Leo, therefore, we are all dealing with Leo issues. Okay. So if you know any Leos, it's particularly powerful for you. If you're a Leo or if you know a Leo, it's powerful for them because that is something that they live already. So when there's a full moon in your zodiac sign, you should really pay attention because this is a great time for healing. And with the full moon, we always focus on healing. With the new moon, we focus on manifestation, right? So with the full moon healing opportunity in Leo, we're focusing on our relationship with pleasure, our ability to receive pleasure, pleasure when we eat, pleasure when we're with friends, pleasure when we're out in nature, pleasure when we're making love. So the 5th house in Leo is also very much about our sexuality, our capacity for romance, our ability to connect in deep intimacy and to lose ourselves And the sign of Leo is very much about having authority and being strong in who you are, strong in your opinions. If you know any Leo people, these are not people who will cower or duck or shrink away from an opportunity to express themselves, right? They're very authoritative in who they are. They're authoritative in their beliefs. They feel connected to who they are. So wherever you have disconnection from who you are, disconnection from your beliefs, when you are living inauthentically, this is a great time to heal that, because Leo deals with all of that stuff, right? So let's see. So what do I want to say? I don't want to go through all of the questions, because this is like an opportunity for you to sit down and do these things. But I'm going to look at kind of the overall tone of the questions that I put for you in the workbook. I talk about pleasure, okay? Talk about pleasure in the physical sense, like physically receiving pleasure, orgasming, enjoying the 7 senses, or how many senses are there, right? Being able to receive and have pleasure through all of your senses, enjoying the smell of things, enjoying the sound of things, right? Your ability to take in those physical pleasures, your emotional pleasure, your capacity to even feel emotions, right? There's so many people who have cut off their emotions, so they don't even allow themselves to feel pleasurable emotions or the difficult emotions like sadness or grief. It's easier for a lot of people to just be neutral and to stuff down their feelings than it is to sometimes have to deal with getting emotional satisfaction, getting physical satisfaction, right? So dealing with pleasure is a big part of this. And again, in these questions, I go into, and by the way, Sangeeta and Aaron, as you all are kind of looking at these questions, if you would like for me to elaborate on any one of them, again, just let me know, okay? I'm not going to go into each one in detail during this session, but I'm going to talk about some of the key components, right? So I'm looking at question number 3, and it has to do with getting pleasure from your hobbies and things that kind of excite you. And actually, I was doing a session this morning with one of my clients, and he's extremely successful. He's successful to the point where his yearly tax, he told me today, we were talking, and he said, "Crystal, I got my tax bill. I paid it in full because I didn't want to do the penalties, and extend it out." And he says, "It was so high." And I'm going, how high is high? Because when I pay $10,000 in taxes, right? That's my yearly tax bill. It comes in around $10,000. I think, ugh, like that's a lot, $10,000 to have to like slam down for the government. He was like, yeah, it was over 1.5 million. And I'm like, like, bravo, senor, bravo, because you got to be making some bucks in order to like have to pay $1 million in taxes. Exactly. That's right. We love that. We love that. It's good, Why did I start telling you guys that? Oh, well, wait, we were talking about, because, so the reason I was telling you that is because here's this wonderful soul who's super intelligent, super spiritual, obviously, because I'm his counselor, right? And yet, hobbies and things that give us pleasure, painting, artistic stuff, dancing, learning things and applying ourselves to things that are not just our job and not just our children, right? These hobbies also fall under this Leo category. And so this man who's super intelligent, super successful, and loves his family, spends a lot of time with his wife and children, has no hobbies. And so the challenge for him is to understand his kind of relationship with hobbies, okay? And to see if hobbies are something that serve him or that can serve him. And it's something that we've been working on, and it's something that interests him, but there's not a lot of interest outside of business building. Granted, he's so good at business and it excites him, right? You can tell he's super passionate about his business. And the man is super healthy as far as like balancing work and spirit. You know, he loves, they just went on a trip with his kids to Cabo. You know, they do some things, but there's not something that makes him, that he's really passionate about, that, you know, makes him like, I want to go do this and create this, right? So the full moon in Leo is a great opportunity if you feel cut off from the hobbies you already have, the things that touch your heart. If you maybe used to do those things and now you don't do those things because of different reasons, especially if you used to do those things and there's some kind of a wound that cut you off from doing the thing that you love. So for example, if you love painting, but there's a fear of criticism, or your own inner critic won't let you paint, won't let you, you know, push the limits of your creativity, then the full moon in Leo is a great time to heal that, okay? And as I said earlier, I'm going back to the questions, sex and romance, right? So this is about thinking about your relationship with sex, thinking about your relationship with romance and with intimacy. Now, with the intimacy, with sex and romance, you can figure that out, right? It's clear what I'm talking about, okay? I'm talking about your ability to receive love, to give love, to let yourself go, to let go and to feel like you're safe, and to actually come together in an intercourse. I'm talking about sex, and to feel pleasure, to receive pleasure, to give pleasure, to feel like you're being seen by your partner and to see your partner, right? Now, the thing is, intimacy, of course, we can mean that when we're talking about sexuality. The thing is, I need to keep reminding you all that intimacy should also come with your friendships, right? How safe do you feel to be yourself with your friendships, even in your relationships with your mom and your dad? How comfortable are you with being intimate with your mom and your dad? And this doesn't mean that you have to tell your mom and your dad everything, but believe it or not, a lot of people are not all that comfortable being intimate with their parents, hearing about the vulnerabilities of their parents, sharing their own vulnerability with their parents, okay? In my humble opinion, and especially because we are all in this particular group, in my tribe, my followers, we are all people who help other people, right? We're light workers, we're healers, we're life coaches. And if I couldn't handle your vulnerability, then I am not good at my job, okay? And I'm not saying that your parents are your clients, but I am saying that if you as a healer can't be with your dad while he talks about his sexual dysfunction, if you're just so shut down that you just can't bear to hear your dad's sexual dysfunction, and you know, okay, I think about that now. I'm having a little giggle because I'm cringing a little bit inside as I think about my stepdad, and I like, oh, okay, wait, hold on. Hold on. But there is the capacity to still be able to have your cringe, nurture your cringe, but also nurture and support your parent who might need you to see them beyond your own limitations, right? Beyond the thing that you created for them. Your capacity to be able to see beyond your own vision of someone else, that's powerful. And that's our job as spiritual life coaches and healers. All right. So intimacy and sexuality, boom, boom, boom. And one of the other things I'm touching on in the questions here is about magnificence. Now, the sign of Leo, you know, it's the lion, right? And we look at lions in the wild and they are just majestic, you know, especially both the males and the females. Of course, the males have that big mane and they shake it and it's really fucking magnificent, right? A lion's mane is magnificent. And then you see a female lion and she has no mane, but boy, she got a look in her eyes, right? Female lions are so regal and just so much class. They have class, okay? And this is what also the full moon in Leo can help us heal, all right? So again, full moons are about healing. That means, so I want to tell you a little bit about what I mean by healing. Healing means to go where we have pain and trauma and to deal with that pain and trauma in a way that helps release our attachment to the pain and trauma so that we can be free of the limitation that we put on ourselves because of that pain and trauma. So if I were told as a child that I'm not magnificent and I'm holding on to that trauma, you can tell me that I'm not magnificent. And if I let go of what you just told me, I'm free. You have not touched me if I let go. But if you say I'm not magnificent and I hold on to that, and then I chew on that, and then I start to build structures on that, mindset, thought patterns, repetition, taking small steps. Oh, well, she said I'm not magnificent, therefore maybe I shouldn't try that, or maybe I need to go work out harder, or maybe I need to get this together first. You know, that's you. That's not even on the person who said you're not magnificent. It's on you for holding on to that and then building an entire world and making decisions based on that. So with this full moon in Leo, there's a chance for us to look at magnificence, okay? Every one of us is a lion, okay? We all have that magnificence in us. How we deal with that magnificence is on us. So the question then becomes, what's your relationship with that magnificence? What's the challenge to that magnificence? And wherever you see, and the one challenge we all have, no matter what sign we're dealing with, no matter what issue we're dealing with, is letting go of our attachment to the thing that harmed us once upon a time. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that it's easy to let go of things, but we have these processes that make it easier. For example, doing a full moon ritual is a process that can totally help you heal, help you let go, help you release your attachment to things that are bugging you or things that have hurt you in the past. Doing shadow work on a daily basis. By the way, I've got my shadow work class up. If you want to take that class, you're more than welcome to. If you want to learn how to do shadow work. However, in the full moon ritual, I have it all written out for you, like a really simple, loving shadow work exercise, okay, that you can do easily in the moment, right?
I wanted
Boom.
to add something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead, Erin.
It went with what you were saying about our magnificence is on us and letting things go. I recently shared something on my Facebook saying like, um, when someone hurts you, like that initial wound they did create, but the rest is on you. And if you just don't let it go and you let it fester, then all the pain that you feel after that initial wound is from you causing your own wound and just digging a deeper hole. So I felt that went really well with what you were saying.
I agree with you 100%. That's it. That's it, 100%. I'm always very happy when I see things like this because number one, it reinforces our divinity and our responsibility to our divinity, right? So we have a responsibility to ourselves. And look, I am the biggest victim in the world. Like, oh, I spent decades blaming my mother for everything she did wrong to me. I spent decades, okay? I've only just forgiven my mom a couple of years ago, okay? And number one, setting her free from being the victimizer was one level of freedom and awakening and evolution and growth. But then setting myself free from that was the thing that mattered, you know? All of a sudden I could make money. All of a sudden I could, have sex and enjoy it in a very powerful way. I could call the shots, I could do things physically that I couldn't do before. It wasn't my mom. It was all about me the whole time. But of course, my soul had a purpose for for giving me the mindset of I'm a victim, okay? And for giving me the mom that I had. This was all calculated by the soul with God. We're all in this together. So appreciating that is also a part of this journey, right? Very good. Thanks for that feedback, Erin. Now, okay, boom. Right. Okay, so um, the last thing that we're going to talk about with this full moon, um, I've mentioned a little bit about this in the beginning and saying, that the sign of Leo is about being an authority, right? Now, Leo is ruled by the sun. Okay, so the fifth house, every house, there are 12 houses, and all of them have a planetary ruler. And the fifth house is ruled by the sun. And we know that the sun is the center of our solar system. And everything moves around the sun. Yeah. So the sun is seen as the authority. Like if you look at Hindu mythology, Sangeeta, you might have, I'm not sure if you're still on the line or if you can join in this part of the conversation, but I remember really waking up to my relationship with astrology when I was in India, and I studied Vedic astrology with a Swami. And boy, I really loved being in India because mythology is alive and everywhere in India. There are images of gods and goddesses, and there are temples everywhere, and things are really made sacred. And you see people revering these things, there's a black cow outside of the Shani temple. And, when you have been a naughty girl, you need to go feed that black cow. It can't be a white cow. Okay, it's got to be a black cow. So you have to go feed that black cow some black beans, and then you got to go help help the black dog and give him some black beans, or whatever it is they want you to do, whatever the priest tells you to do, you do it, because everything matters in India. This is why I love India, okay? And there's my dog. His name is Apollo, or Apollo. And he's named Apollo because Apollo is the sun god, and Apollo's numerology is 11. So it's number 11 is the amplification of authority, right? Like authority in Made Manifest. Named him that, and he does a good job of owning his authority in his little way, right? But here's the point that I want to make. When I was in India, what I learned was that the sun, there's like a whole story about the sun, and all the planets are living beings, right? And the sun is kind of like this big, wild father, right? And he's wild, he's strong, he's smart, he's intelligent, he controls everything, he gives life to everything, he's ebullient, he's full of life. And he's got a relationship with all of these different planets, right? And my favorite one is Saturn, because I'm a child of Saturn. And so the sun's relationship with Saturn is really, really testy, because the sun is the father and Saturn is kind of the dark child that doesn't really receive the warmth, right? Saturn's a very cold planet. It's very dark, and Lord Shani is seen as a dark-skinned god, and his hair is very kinky and dry, right? And I totally relate to that, because I'm a dark-skinned goddess and my hair is very kinky and dry, right? I love this stuff. So when you're thinking about authority, and we have, if you have any kind of issues around authority, using this sun in Aquarius and the full moon in Leo is a fantastic time to actually heal your relationship, because in order for you to feel like a real authority in your life, you have to not have opposition to your authority within yourself. Okay. And the biggest problem to our authority is rarely somebody who's outside of us. It might look like it's somebody outside of us, but keep in mind that everything that we experience in the outside world is a reflection of what's going on in the inside. So if you find that your authority is being challenged in the outside world, or you don't feel very authoritative in the outside world, you got to trace that back to the roots of why you don't feel that within yourself. All right. So hopefully this full moon in Leo worksheet is going to give you some good help. Hey, Sangeeta.
That's a very interesting thing that you were saying, because as a child, I used to challenge this astrology and all of this a lot, because there are lots of things in India which they just do it because it's been done from generations, and they never have answers for it.
Mhm.
So I'd keep challenging it all the time, unless and until it has a proper uh, basis of understanding to it. Like, so
Yeah.
I till date remember, like, I used to always have arguments with my mom as to why I cannot enter the temple if I have my periods. And she would, like, I don't know. And I'm like, then you can't stop me if you don't know. So it was very strange. And I used to have these very but now when I'm doing a lot of work around this, I do a lot of reading, and there are a lot of scientific reasons around it as well, because it's not because you're impure or you're not pure or things like that, but it's got to do more with the energies that you have at that time, and the energy in that area at that time, and how it can impact your body. So
Yeah.
these are the different, but but people do not really get to the depth of it. uh, like even for marriages, like as you said, the astrological chart that they look at, for us when we get married, we match the stars for the two people, and only then do they, like if it's an arranged marriage, then that's when you can get married. So it's a lot of things that but that time it didn't make sense to me, but now it does make a lot of sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, Sangeeta. And it's so interesting because like you, my culture's traditions, I rebelled against, right? Um, but going into your culture, I went in with a totally open mind, right? And it's so much easier. And this is one of the reasons why travel is so important, because, it's hard to find excitement for what's ours. Some people do, of course, but if you're like me or like you, you kind of rebel or you question and you don't just accept.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go travel and you realize, oh, this is cool. And that can make you appreciate your own home, or it can just open your mind and,
Yeah.
embrace,
So
whatever is new. I love that. And I love the examples you gave. Thank you so much. It was beautiful. Very good. Thank you. Um, so actually what I'll do right now, so I've kind of gone through giving you an overview of the questions that are there. There are a few more that that are just my job is to help you go deep. So I tend to do things that I don't try to focus on everything. I try to focus on a few things that spirit shows me are important for people in the moment. And that way, you have more depth as opposed to a little bit in many different pots. Okay. Do you all have any questions or questions or comments about what we've talked about, or anything that you see in the actual ritual itself?
I don't know, because I'm kind of new to all of this. So I don't know a whole lot about like astrology and numerology and things like that. So I love that you go in depth with all of that stuff, and I feel like it really does help. And I definitely know that I feel like shifts with the planetary shifts and things like that. But and that's just something I do want to like uh, get more into. Do you have anything you can recommend me to like learn more about that stuff?
Um, you mean as far as like books or something like that? Um,
Yeah.
so in my humble opinion, the best way is to start with your own feeling, right? So there's the workbook part of the ritual, Erin, and then there's the ritual part of the ritual. And during the ritual part of the ritual, you're sitting, there's a ritual, right? You go through lighting a candle, kind of preparing your space, and there's a meditation and connection aspect, right? And during this period, what you do is you sit and you allow your mind to fall away, and you allow the moon to talk to you. That is the most important thing that you can do to learn about astrology. Connecting with the moon and noticing how you feel. There's in the moon ritual, there's a little story journey that I take you through. And there's a part where you're just kind of like sitting there in darkness and you're allowing your human self to fall away. And that is where I believe your journey with astrology should start. Because once you make a relationship with the moon, She's there for you all the time. It's not even that it's only when she's full. She's always there. It's just there are different ways that you can see her, but she's always, always there, right? So the moon, especially for women, is a super powerful spirit guide. And she's the one who's in charge of your intuition and your subconscious mind, okay? Developing that relationship with her will bring forth whatever is hidden in your subconscious and unconscious mind. So actually, when you say that you don't know a lot about astrology, you're actually misspeaking, because you know everything about astrology, right? The truth of who you are knows. You're just in a frame of mind of being human in this particular moment. And there's certain things there's certain doors that are locked in your house, right? And so when you do the full moon ritual, you're just going in and unlocking a door. We're going to unlock the Leo door and we're going to go see what's in there, right? So that's the first place to start. Then once you know you're doing all that and you know you're excited, then you go on YouTube. Love me some YouTube. Love YouTube. YouTube is like the best gift to human beings since, I don't know, like, it's awesome. It's the best. It's better than running water. It's better than running water. You have so much information on YouTube, right? And it's a lot of it is good quality information. So you have to find your people, okay? Find your people, follow them, support them, all those kinds of things. Oh, the other thing that you should do also for understanding astrology is definitely getting your astrology report, right? So if you want me to run one of those, I can do that for you. It's $32, but I think, yeah, it's $32, and it's a 30-page document of you. It tells you where your sun is, it tells you where your moon is, where Jupiter is, and that's about like expansion and good luck. It tells you where your communication is. It tells you where your money is, what's your best job for you, your family. It tells you everything, okay? So investing in your own astrology report is definitely a great way of learning more about astrology. And to me, your astrology report is your soul's agenda, right? It's like a blueprint of why your soul came to earth. You wonder what the purpose of it is in life, what your life purpose is? Look at your astrology report, because it'll tell you straight up, like, you're here to suffer in relationships, excel in school, fail at your job, get sick. It'll tell you all that stuff, okay? Tell you what you're good at, it'll tell you what you're crappy at, it'll tell you about what your family relationships are, what your intimate relationships are, it'll tell you about how you enjoy sex or not enjoy sex, all that stuff is in your astrology report. That's so much information right there.
Thank you. Is that also subject to change, or is it pretty steady throughout your life?
Okay, that's such a good question. That is solid, steady throughout your life, but it's the background of the whole thing, right? Because every year your astrology changes. So we consider your birthday to be the day you were born, right? So if I were born on January 26th at 7:51 in the morning, then I would say like, oh, January 26th, 7:51 is my birthday. But actually, astrologically, your birthday is called your solar return. It's the date that the sun moves around to the exact same spot that it was when you were born. Does that make sense, Erin? Erin, I think you might be frozen. Am I frozen? Am I the one who's frozen? Sangeeta, can you hear me? You can hear me. Okay, I think Erin might have gotten cut off or something. Anyway, so the question she's asking is a good one. I don't know if she might have to catch the replay in order to get this message, but every year when the sun moves back to the spot it was when you were born, that's called your solar return. And so your birthday, like this year, my birthday is on January 25th, not on January 26th. And when the sun moves into that same position, that is considered your birthday. All the other planets are doing a totally different thing. So when I was born, I was an Aquarius with an Aquarius rising. And this year, I don't remember what I am. I need to look again. This year, I'm an Aquarius with, I think, a Taurus rising. Yes, I'm having fun this year. So yes, I'm Aquarius. Wait, I'm going to double check. I think I'm going to be having a lot of fun this year, but I need to look because I can't remember. So by the way, Erin, I don't know how much of that last part you actually heard, but I was saying how every year your astrology actually changes. And hold on, I'm sorry, I'm super curious about what my birthday is going to be this year. So I'm going to have to look that up. So yeah, I think I'm Aquarius with a Taurus rising this year. And I think the moon is going to be in Cancer. No. The moon, actually the moon might be in Cancer. Huh. That means I'm going to have quite a deeply healing year. A lot of emotions. I'll be feeling my feels. My birthday's coming up on Tuesday, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you check uh the like where the sun or the this thing is for yourself on the chart itself?
Yeah, on the chart, Sangeeta and I work together already. She's one of my clients, one of my students. So Sangeeta, it's in that report that you got when we first started working, right?
Yeah.
And every year though, on your birthday, you should get a new report so that you can see where you are this year, because it changes from year to year. That's why our years are so different. It also depends on where you're living. So if I was born in Oakland, California, and I'm living in Florence, Italy, it's going to give me a very different, I'm a different part of the world. All the planets are angling at me differently than would be if I were in California. So I have a different astrological chart depending on where I am in the world from year to year, right? So yeah, and yes, I run all these reports. All my reports are $32. So if you would like me to run a report, drop me a line. Actually, I'll put a link to get a report in the comments section, okay? Or in the description. Awesome. Now, do y'all have any other questions about the full moon in Leo or about astrology or our work here? Awesome. Very good. Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad that we did this. I'm really happy that I got to connect with my dear old friend Sangeeta and might make a new friend with Erin. Hi, Erin. This is wonderful. So thank you so much for joining me today. And Erin, just in case there was a little information that you missed when your phone was off, you just come back and listen to the replay, just the last 5 minutes, I'm sure. Okay. All right. Very good, ladies. I'll see you soon. Sangeeta, it's time to go to bed.
Yes, it is. I'm just going to go off the bed now. I
All
have to
right.
start work in the morning. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Have a good night, darling. And thanks for staying up to hang out with me.
See you.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye, Erin. Bye, Sangeeta.